Hi, I'm Jessica Lahr here, and welcome to another edition of FLX Weekly here on FingerLakes1.com on Wednesday, August 10th, 2016. I'm joined here in the studio with President Jim Sinicropi, lead news editor Josh Durso, and network administrator Jessamy Uticone. Hello again, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Good afternoon.
So obviously the Olympics are underway. Have you guys been
Jessamy's a big Olympic guy. Josh is not a big Olympic guy. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
You're a big Olympic girl, though.
Well, I do happen to love the gymnastics.
Is that what, at certain events, or will you sit down and just have it on for the next 2 weeks whenever you're home?
I would just be happy watching gymnastics, any event. It's amazing to me. And the U.S. team is doing really, really, really
Sure
great.
are.
Yeah.
I watch all the events. Doesn't matter. Even the ones people find terribly boring, like rowing. I'll watch
Like
rowing.
Yeah,
Love it.
rowing's not bad. The most boring I've seen so far has been water polo.
I like water polo.
It's just
I
like
haven't seen that
so
one.
slow, and you want them to fast break, but it's just not happening. There's no transition game in water polo.
It's true.
It's intense too because there's so much to watch. There's so much available. I mean, you would, if you wanted to seriously watch all, you would literally have to be watching it almost
You'd have to use
every
your
moment of the
DVR.
day.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on
Yeah.
over there.
That's the only way I've been able to do it. I've DVR'd it and then tuned in late at night when the kids are sleeping.
Late at night with Ryan Seacrest.
Yes.
That's the best. That guy's got the best job in the world.
I will say this: I thought it was
Oh,
really
goodness.
interesting that the diving pools
Yeah.
randomly turned green. No one really seems to know why
I
or
didn't
how.
see that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
me
just
They-
either.
gross.
They just
Disgusting.
and it doesn't look like a really disgusting green. It kind of just looks like a chemical green, which
Ooh.
maybe that's a little
Maybe.
more concerning.
Yeah.
It looks
I
like
don't know.
Mountain Dew, basically.
Yeah.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, when did that happen? I didn't even.
I
didn't
think
see
that was
that.
2 days ago. It just
Oh.
spontaneous. It just and the pool right next to it, totally clear blue, totally normal.
Oh no. So you can
Strange
compare
stuff.
Yeah, the last night was the gymnastics team competition, and our U.S. girls did really good, and they already started the process of marketing, packaging them up for marketing as America's sweethearts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Final
amazing.
Five, they call themselves.
Yes.
The Final Five.
Yeah,
Yes.
they revealed it. They made sure they revealed it. They said it once, and then they weren't sure if the cameras caught it, so they said it again. So it's all set. But nice uniforms, too, those sparkles.
I know. I do love a sparkle. What can I say?
I mean, I think they were really impressive, if not slightly, inappropriate.
Oh no.
A
A little flashy. Well, they are pretty young.
Yeah, and from behind there, it's
They're not as young as the Chinese team,
The Chinese
who
team.
are they're questionably young.
Wow.
yeah, I think 2 of those girls were 7.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
They looked like they could have been. Yeah. But USA's doing great. Powerhouses.
Yep, and we're leading the medal count.
As usual.
So,
Yep.
but hey, let's talk about some local stuff here.
Yeah. Well, what's going on? What are the network highlights?
Well,
For
this week on
FingerLakes1.
FingerLakes1.com, we had Steve Churchill and Cindy Lorenzetti, 2 Seneca County supervisors. Cindy, the Town of Fayette supervisor, in studio for Weber this week. That's an interesting show if you want to go back and watch it. They talk about a couple of the items firsthand that Josh is going to be talking about in his news segment coming up next.
Yep.
On the GolfJ.com podcast, myself, Rhett Uticone, and Doug Brown talked about the Olympic golf tournament that starts tomorrow on Thursday and runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On Inside the FLX, tomorrow, Thursday at 2 o'clock, you can watch live as Josh will have New York State Senate 54th District candidate Bobby Masserini in studio, and
Yep.
that'll be like the 4th candidate so far we've had up on Inside the FLX.
Yeah, and he actually is not technically a candidate at this point because he was knocked off the ballot, but mounting a write-in campaign.
Mm.
And then Thursday night, the 31st lap's back for episode number 206 at 7:15. And then we got a new show taping Friday. It won't be live. We'll upload it after. Eventually it will be live. But Walter Gable, Seneca County historian, is going to debut his new show called Our Finger Lakes History. And it's going to be about an hour all about the history of the Seneca Army Depot, along with all sorts of historic photos and documents, and it will be comprehensive, and he's
I'm
going to
excited.
tackle all sorts of different local history items that and the list he has is amazing for future shows, so that'll go
So cool.
up on Friday. It's going to
gonna
be
be
great,
good.
and anybody that knows Walt Gable knows that the guy is
Comprehensive.
when it comes to history, so
That's great. I can't wait to watch that.
so
That's awesome.
a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, what's going on in the news, Josh?
Well, right now, one of the big stories over the last 7 days, speculation in tire. Where is the development going to be? Where is it not going to be? Dunkin' Donuts is coming to Tire, according to Jeff Shipley, President and CEO of the Seneca County Chamber of Commerce, but not until sewer lines are laid on State Route 318. McGee Country Diner is not selling out to Cracker Barrel. Maybe that's disappointing, maybe that's exciting. I'm not really sure. But Gary Schlegel, owner, says he's staying. He's there for the long haul. And just this morning, Del Lago announced that Chef Fabio Viviani, who appeared on Top Chef and a number of other shows of that nature, is going to be opening the Portico restaurant, which is going to be in the eastern corner of the Del Lago Resort and Casino. One of the things with everything out there has just been a lot of people wish listing items. So I guess my question to you guys is, what would you like to see out? What's the dream item that you'd like to see out there on 318 or 414?
I'd love to see a Bojangles. It's not going to happen, though. You can't get a franchise above the Pennsylvania border. Right. It's a total southern thing. But if I could pick one thing, it would be Bojangles chicken and biscuits.
I know nothing about Bojangles. I guess I'm missing out.
Yeah, you have to drive south to get some Bojangles, but I don't know what else.
What's your item, Jessica?
Radio Shack.
Radio Shack.
I don't really know. I didn't really think about it. I don't really want for anything.
A lot of people have been wishing for a Target.
Target.
When push comes to shove, they would really like to see a Target out there, and I think that's one of the. It would seem if development happens out there, that would be one of the more sensible items that might pop up. But who knows?
Well, especially with the hotel going in, you're a hotel guest. You pop over to Target to get some essentials you might have forgotten. But that would provide a little Walmart competition, I guess, which wouldn't be a bad thing. But
that would certainly be a good thing.
I
Second big news item of the week was last night the Seneca County Supervisors voted yes to a fleet management service, which is going to be enterprise fleet management. They entered a 5-year agreement. Simply put, it means that Seneca County will lease vehicles instead of buying them outright. Over the next 10 years, they say this will save the county upwards of $400,000.
Wow.
I know Steve Churchill and
Cindy
both made it very clear when they were on Weber's show this week that they were not big supporters of that plan, and they once again they were two of the big opponents of it last night at the meeting. So that is one issue to kind of watch over the next few months to see how it develops and see what it actually saves over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So they have 92 vehicles in their fleet, I think, right now.
Yep. And that was one of the things that kind of surprised me was actually how many vehicles the county owns in total. You see the cars parked at the county office building, but I don't really think anyone...
Those are a lot of employee cars, actually.
Yeah, they have some of them parked like scattered around the perimeter, some of the ones that are actually owned by the county, but it's amazing how many in total there actually are, just scattered all over the county.
That lease probably doesn't even cover sheriff's vehicles, would it? Those would be specialty that somebody like Enterprise probably couldn't.
That's one of the questions that was raised last night. It seems to be that there's a lot of unknown about what exactly is going to be covered and how much it'll actually save. Steve Churchill said that when he looked at it and some of the figures he looked at, it could only save $30,000.
Oh, wow.
So if that's the case, that's a big that's a big difference.
It still would make sense to do, though.
Oh yeah. And then we also had an income gap story, which was pretty popular over this past weekend on FingerLakes1.com. It compared what the top 1% of earners in each county made to what the median income was of the other 99%. Here in Seneca County and Wayne County, top earners earned between $350,000 and $370,000 a year, while the other 99% had an average right around $30,000. Ontario County actually had one of the largest gaps in all of Western New York, with a little over $850,000 being made by the top 1% and just over $40,000 for that other 99%.
Wow.
And the map is interactive, so you can actually go on FingerLakes1.com and you can look any place in the entire country. The data is pulled from the whole thing. So it's pretty eye-opening to actually see what that gap looks like in realistic terms to
Yeah,
your...
well, normally they would say the average median income for a county is this, but that includes the upper 1%, so it ends up being 70,000 something, that you're like, oh, well, that's good. Most people are doing quite well. But when you take out the top 1% and you're talking about 31,000, Seneca County, I think was 31,000.
Yep.
That's barely a living wage. I mean, if there's two people in your household making 31,000, then you're probably barely getting by if you're a homeowner, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I found. I was going back and comparing those figures to what the census data showed as being median income throughout, and it was in a lot of cases between $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 off. So that upper 1%, even though it is just 1%, it's such a difference that it does drag the number up quite a bit.
Wow. Interesting.
And then, of course, the last bit
so we'll talk about this one a little bit more. It's the shrinking middle class.
It is, and it's something that is constantly talked about in our political system, and it's debated over and over and over again. Every candidate who's running for the 54th Senate District right now is talking about this. Yeah. But what are they actually going to be able to do to, change it?
Nothing, because once they're in office for long enough, they'll be part of the 1%.
Yeah, and they're actually, just this last weekend, the news came out that state lawmakers were going to be making the case for their first salary increase since 1999, I believe, which would bump them from $79,000, right around $80,000 a year, up to $117,000 per year.
Wow.
Soak that in for a minute.
It's a part-time job, too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're talking about a $30,000 increase in one
which is about
cycle.
The median income of the 99% of the people who live in each of their districts.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, not a... it's not an ideal situation, but like I say, look at the map, really sort of soak it in, and I think it gives a really good insight as to what these counties actually look like, because that is a really fair assessment. Saying that the average income is $30,000 in Seneca County is a very fair assessment, because there aren't a high density of these high-paying, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 jobs. It just doesn't really exist. And of course, the last bit of news, which at this point is almost not news anymore. It's dry. It's horribly, horribly dry. Drought warning was issued last Wednesday night. It remains in effect to this point. The whole Finger Lakes area, 5-6+ inches below average, below where we're supposed to be. Seneca County Fire Coordinator Jeff Case says open burning is strongly discouraged. He spoke last night at the Seneca County Board of Supervisors meeting, and he essentially made the case that unless you're agriculture, unless you're a farmer, there isn't really any point to be burning.
How many times you mowed your lawn?
No, I haven't.
I haven't. I don't even remember the last time.
Yeah,
May.
The weeds are growing.
The third week of May was the last time I
this
mowed.
morning?
It did. We did get a little rain this morning.
Yes.
Southern Finger Lakes got a lot more than we did.
Yeah.
And then, as we'll find out shortly with the weather report, there's a chance of rain this weekend. But, it's been kind of hit or miss. And I was out in the yard last night waging war with some bees that have taken up residence in my house and around the pool. And as a cigarette smoker, I did not want to. I was being careful because I felt like one little ash would set the whole yard ablaze, because everything was crinkly.
Just like yesterday in Waterloo at the American Legion, there was a fire scare because a butt can tipped over outside of the building itself. I guess it started to catch a piece of plywood, started to smolder a little bit. The wind just blew it in through the window. They thought there was a fire. Turns out there was quite a response to it, but luckily there wasn't an actual fire. But with it being this dry, that is really something to be thinking about, because even last night in Aurelius, there were two relatively big brush fires caused by a passing train. And, I mean, you're really talking about just little minor things. It takes almost nothing.
We're in a combustible state right now.
Yeah.
Here in the Finger Lakes, so.
Yep.
So is there relief coming, Jess?
Well, I was happy to see that the ground was wet this morning when we woke up. It's going to be super hot and humid to the end the week here, but we may get some much-needed rain with showers and thunderstorms possible throughout the weekend. Friday will be partly sunny and hot with a high of 92 and a 40% chance of showers or thunderstorms. The overnight low will drop only to 74. So rain is likely on Saturday with temperatures cooling a bit under mostly cloudy skies and a high of 85 degrees. There's a 70% chance of showers or thunderstorms. Still, the overnight low will stay in the low 70s. I'm hoping it doesn't lightning. Hoping for Saturday. We don't mind rain.
We're going to talk about your big event Saturday coming up here.
No lightning. 60% chance of showers is expected on Sunday with a more comfortable high around 80 degrees. And the forecast for the early part of next week calls for less humidity, which will be nice, and highs in the lower 80s. But as always, check out the latest local forecast and live radar at the local weather center at fingerlakes1.com.
And for the first weekend in a while, there's actual rain in the forecast. It looks like it's gonna rain.
Really rain, right?
But so, why don't you go lead off with your big event this week?
Okay. Well, before I hand it over to Jessamy, we're really excited because we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary with Vino and the Beasts. That's why I had to wear my shirt and represent. We started this event 5 years ago with another couple. It's a 5K obstacle run through the vineyards at Three Brothers Winery and Zugabee Vineyards. The runners come, they participate in the running event itself. They get wine tastings before they start on the trail itself. There's 13 obstacles, and then when they get back and cross the finish line, they have a passport for wine tastings at all of Three Brothers Wineries. The microbrewery there and also Zugabee Vineyards will be on site.
It's just down the road too, right?
Yeah. They'll actually be, the Beast Bath is always the obstacle people really like, and that's at Zugabee Vineyards.
How many sign-ups?
Close to 1,500 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that up so far from last year?
It's about the same as last year.
And you're going to get some walk-ins the day of the race?
Yep. We'll have on-site registrations available. We can't promise T-shirt sizes and T-shirts, but we will have some options there. It'll just depend on what we have.
So rain is doable, but thunder and lightning would
Yes.
cause delays for you.
Yeah, we're hoping no lightning.
I saw the equipment being set up this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, when I was out there.
Yes. It's fun.
Some big obstacles.
Big obstacles, sure.
Some of them are big, yeah. They're fun.
Everybody that I've heard that's ran that loves it, so it's sure it'll be another great year, and I'm sure the lightning. Well, can't predict the weather, but I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed for you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're hoping.
You're not in the Vino and the Beasts. What else, Jess, is going on?
There's a few things going on this weekend, especially if you're going to historic Palmyra's Pirates of the Erie Canal, which will invade the village of Palmyra during this weekend's 10th annual Palmyra Pirate Weekend, with events on Friday and Saturday. Highlights include bed racing. I don't know what that is. Bed racing. Or do I?
Actually, you used to have to bring your own bed, but this year you're able to. They'll have beds for you.
What is bed racing?
Is that literally does that mean
you sit on a bed, 4 people, and it has wheels, and you roll it down a hill and hope nobody gets hurt, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, so they'll have bed racing.
There's bed racing. If you're not into bed racing, they have a Jolly Roger 5K, which I assume is just a pirate-themed 5K. Mm-hmm. There's also a pirate-themed Pirate Kazoo Band Parade, a children's treasure hunt. I don't know why they don't have an adult treasure hunt. I like a treasure hunt, too. Canal Trail Tours, historic Palmyra Pirates Tales, and museum tours. The full schedule is available online at eriecanalpirates.com. I didn't know that Palmyra was so pirate-themed.
I was going to say, that's a little bit surprising, honestly. My question is, how did they earn this title of apparently being the pirate capital of central New York?
Is that what they say?
First to the beat, probably,
Yeah. Everybody's got something. They went with the pirates.
Yeah.
They're really doing it.
People like pirates.
Hey, also running today, which is Wednesday, through Saturday, is the Pageant of Steam. On Guillen Road off of 5 and 20 in Canandaigua. Enjoy a large outdoor display of operating farm machinery dating back to the early 1900s. Tractor pulls and other daily activities are planned. large craft and flea market and parts vendors will be set up. They also have a website at www.pageantofsteam.com. .org. Oh, excuse me, .org.
Yeah.
It's an organization. Farm equipment, steam-powered farm equipment.
Yeah, no, I mean, if
That's interesting.
It is interesting, and they're operational. It's that's the long-running event, even longer than the Pirates of Palmyra. So
that's really
a couple of nice event options if you're out and about and not running in the Vino and the Beasts 5K.
Right.
Obstacle.
I can say this from experience. Every day that's running, usually 5 and 20 along that corridor turns into a little bit of a nightmare.
Sure.
For the people who might be traveling between Seneca Falls, anywhere in there,
Because of the steam-powered vehicles, Josh. Saturday, the Central New York Scottish Games Committee invites you to attend the Central New York Scottish Games and Celtic Festival at Long Branch Park in Liverpool. More information is available online at cnyscottishgames.org.
That's interesting.
I assume they have like a caber toss, which is an awesome event. If you've ever seen anybody do that,
I've never seen that.
It's like a giant, like 20-foot pole, like a pine tree that they take the branches off of, and you have to throw it.
Oh.
You have to run and throw it, and it has to land away from you. When you do that, it has to flip once and land away from you.
And then they measure it.
And it's not about distance; it's about clock faces.
Oh,
so
really?
12 o'clock is a good throw. If it's off to the side,
Oh, wow.
yeah, caber toss.
That's why we included that. Liverpool's a little bit outside of our wheelhouse here in the Finger Lakes, but it's that the Scottish games are always fun if you're looking for something to do a little
I always
different.
wanted to do a home brewed caber toss, but we've never done it.
It'd be interesting.
Tough
Maybe
to get
dangerous.
my friends.
Tough to get the
Maybe
space in the
dangerous.
logs.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey, another weekend here in the Finger Lakes. We're running a little late in summer events here. Now we're in mid-August, but
Well, what do we have going on in sports, Jim?
sports weekend. Well, another successful weekend for the NASCAR at the Glen. Last weekend, Denny Hamlin won the Cheese at 355. Joey Logano won the Xfinity Series race on Saturday for the second straight year. Friday night, Alex Rodriguez plays his last game as a New York Yankee. The Buffalo Bills open their preseason at home against the Colts on Saturday night at 7 o'clock at Ralph Wilson Stadium. So, football is now inching its way back, too. So these are all signs that summer is kind of fading away.
Yep.
Incoming Syracuse basketball freshman Matthew Moyer injured his foot. At first, he tweeted out himself in a crutch, said it wasn't a big deal, but apparently it could be a big deal. It could delay his start of the practice in October with the Syracuse team. So, and then give you some Olympic viewing picks this weekend. They'll be handing out medals in men's and women's double sculls and coxless pair rowing. Yeah. Team dressage and equestrian. The men's and women's 10,000 meter will be held along with a bunch of other track and field events. Shooting, boxing, the men's and women's 20K meter or 20K walk. So walking.
Olympic walking.
Women's weightlifting, judo, archery, fencing, cycling, men's and women's tennis, women's shot put, swimming, and, as I mentioned before, golf.
Olympic golf.
Which you can watch on the Golf Channel, which is an NBC property. But it's the only Olympic event that's not on one of their other networks, so it's kind of weird there. So, and good luck to our local Olympic rowers, Naples Megan Misnicki and Canandaigua grad Caitlin Snyder, both going for rowing medals and trying to bring them back here home to the Finger Lakes. So
that is awesome.
Told you rowing was exciting.
We need to watch. Well, let's jump into our top local photos, Jim.
Lots of photos.
Lots of photos this week. Starting us off is a photo from Lori Bonacci, Tuesday night's sunset as seen over these old barns in Waterloo. Beautiful. By Tara Palmer, this red heart rose of Sharon bush was dotted with morning dew in Italy Valley in Yates County on Tuesday morning.
Nice flower photo. Nice
It is.
dew dottage on the petals there. That's a good one. When I see these things when they come in, that's one that I said, well, that's a nice one.
Yep, it's gorgeous.
Good job, Tara Palmer.
From Mike Sargent, this sunflower was wide open at Sonnenberg Gardens in Canandaigua on Thursday afternoon.
Sunflowers are crazy,
I've
right?
seen
I mean,
them all
they're
over now.
huge. They
Sure they
grow
are.
so much.
Yeah, they
Even
do.
in this drought, they grow and grow and grow.
It's a good thing. Something's growing. From Rachel Burkholder, a good sunset needs some dark clouds in the sky, and Thursday's had a good supply. Rachel captured this shot at Sampson State Park.
Rachel, always coming through.
She's
Always.
amazing.
She's always coming through.
She finds the thing to shoot, and then she shoots it in the best possible way.
Yeah.
It's a two-fold process, I assume. And the third fold is send it to us.
Yeah. She's got a
Thank
technique.
you.
She's got it down.
Yeah.
From Diane Hurlber on Friday around 11:30 p.m., a family of 4 raccoons stopped by Preemption Street in Geneva to have a little snack from the bird feeders. Oh my goodness.
Look at that rascal.
You guys ever had a raccoon encounter?
Yeah.
I have
No.
too. Man, story for another podcast, though.
Oh goodness. Well, by Nancy Wright, we have these dry leaves dropped in the hedgerows of drought-ridden southern Yates County on Sunday evening.
And that's another thing with the weather like this. Fall's going to come early. The leaves are going to. I mean, there's
Yeah.
already. You've probably already seen autumn-like leaves in your driveway.
Little
Fallen
speculation. They had said a couple weeks ago that the colors might not be as strong this year because of that. So
leaves.
something to.
Oh,
Damn drought.
that's
Yeah.
sad. Well, from Shelley Lana and Jack DeBoover of DeBoover Family Farm in Phelps was the Grand Marshal at Saturday's Sauerkraut Festival Parade. He's seen here throwing candy to the crowd with his granddaughter, Samantha Peacock.
Someday it would be great to be Grand Marshal of a parade.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's really neat.
It's a bucket list item.
Yeah.
That's going to happen for you, Jim.
You think I will one day be a Grand
Yep,
Marshal?
I do.
Man.
It's going to
Oh,
happen.
man.
Just imagine.
I'm the first to said it, okay?
Have you been Grand Marshal? Is Mrs. New York State?
I've ridden with the Grand Marshal, but that's about it.
Well, that's
Oh, wow.
close to greatness.
You're the
Close.
Samantha Peacock.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
far.
right. From Robert Stopper, the brand new Harbor Queen tourist boat is shown here, exiting Lock 27 in Lyons early on Tuesday on its maiden voyage from Florida to Buffalo.
Now, the thing I can infer from this is maiden voyage. I bet you that boat was manufactured in Florida, and the best
Sure.
way to get a boat somewhere is to drive it on the water. And one of the amazing
Sure.
things about our canal system here is that it does connect out to the Atlantic Ocean.
It's
and
wild.
And so
So cool.
you get boats from all over. This boat drove from Florida to Buffalo, right through the Finger Lakes. And pretty interesting photo by Robert Stopper.
Harbor
That's
Queen.
great. And finally, another sunset from Rachel Burkholder. This one from Saturday night inside the Montezuma National Wildlife Refuge.
Boy, she gets around.
Yeah.
I know.
Man.
And just, we got 2 sunset photos from her this week, and, they're both so different. And this one, like a lot of people might not think to capture that
Right.
of the sun between the trees. I mean, the sun over the lake, that's an obvious one. We get a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a nice one from Montezuma. That's why we saved it for last.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Well, I guess that wraps it up for us. Thank you guys for joining us live today on FLX Weekly. And remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you'd like to drop us a line, please email us at contact@fingerlakes1.com. We'll all be back live next Wednesday. Until then, enjoy another great summer weekend here in the Finger Lakes.
See you, everybody.
See?